Today I'm here to wrap up the reading year that is 2022. It's about time, right? But today we're going to talk about my top 12 best reads of 2022, or the best books. And not a lot of these books were published in 2022, so it's not about that. It's about what I read during 2022. But yeah, I've changed this list back and forth so many times, so who knows if you're gonna keep it this way, but this is what it looks like for now. So the first book, which takes the number 12 spot, is I Must Betray You by Ruta Sepetys. In general, I loved Ruta Sepetys' books. She's very good at like doing research for her different novels, and this is supposed to be communist Romania, and about, you know, people having to spy on each other for the government, and, you know, the revolution that came afterwards. It was a good book. It definitely didn't hook me as much as her other books that I've read, but it was a really solid read. It just took some time for it to get started a little bit, because I felt like it was a lot of like backstory and stuff in the beginning, but yeah, I really enjoyed it overall. And number 11 is Grimm by Sara Bergmark Elfgren. I'm actually really happy to say that 2 Swedish authors made it onto this list this year, which is awesome. But this one is basically about Casper. He starts getting very fascinated by this guy named Grimm, who was in the same band as his father, and they try to figure out what the hell happened to Grimm, because he actually ended up dead when he was only like 16, 18, 17 years old. And yeah, he takes help with some friends, and there's some supernatural elements going on as well. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. Then on place number 10, we have Konferensen by Mats Strandberg, another one of my auto-by authors that happens to be Swedish. And this one is basically about a bunch of sort of developers, I guess. They have bought some land to be able to build a mall in this small town, and they go sort of on a little trip for this conference that they're on, which is right before they're supposed to start digging to be able to build a new mall. And they go to this sort of, what should you call it, bed and breakfast, but with like small cabins that they get to share 2 each. And it's all fine until people starts to end up dead, like a bunch of them. It's morbid, it's dark, it's very bloody, and you get way more details than you want to, but I gave it 5 stars, so Mats Strandberg definitely knows how to horrify me, but still keep my interest. And then on number 9th, we have The Tyrant's Tomb by Rick Riordan. This is the 4th book, I think it was, in the series called The Trials of Apollo. So in the first book in the series, we follow Apollo. He has had this quarrel with his father Zeus, so he has been cast down to Earth to, you know, live there along with the humans. So he's basically just a pimply gangly teenager. He has no powers, but that does not stop other gods and monsters and other mythical beings from trying to kill him, and he has to, you know, get help from some demigods, and shit goes awry as usual. I really enjoyed this one, as always, since it's Rick Riordan. I mean, he can do no wrong basically, so yeah, that's why it's on the list. And then speaking of Rick Riordan, we have Daughter of the Deep, which is actually his first book that I've read that is not about any kind of mythology. And in this one, we basically follow a couple of students from this sort of nautical school, is that the word? Basically descendants of Captain Nemo from 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, which is really cool because I love that classic novel. But yeah, basically there's this feud between these 2 schools, and one school ends up being blown up and shit goes awry. So it's a lot of intrigues, a lot of like betrayal and stuff, and a lot of interesting technology and references to 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. So yeah, I really enjoyed this one. I don't know if there's gonna be a second book in the series, or if this is a standalone. I would love for it to be more, but we'll see about that. And we're on to number 7, and this is My Contrary Mary by Cynthia Hand, Brody Ashton, and Jody Meadows. And this is basically sort of a companion book series to their My Lady Janie series, because this has cameos from a couple of those characters. But this is Mary of Scots, and there's people that can transform into animals, and people being betrayed, and people trying to take over power, and you know, everybody wants to be kings and queens and stuff like that. And yeah, shit goes awry, and there's a lot of banter and very funny humor and sort of breaking of the fourth wall type of thing, and I love that. And I really love the Lady Janie's, or the Lady Mary's, I guess, at this point. I don't know, it's a new series. But yeah, I really enjoyed this one. Then we have number 6, which is Sunkissed by Casey West, and this one we meet Avery. Her and her parents and her little sister are going to this sort of family camp where you're not allowed to have cell phones or internet or anything kids want these days, and she thinks it's going to be a horrible summer. But she ends up meeting this guy named Brooks, who is actually in a band, and you know, maybe shit happens, because maybe they fall in love and stuff. So this was really cute, very quick read, and as always, I love Casey West books. On place number 5, speaking of Casey West, we have Places We've Never Been. And in this one we have 2 sort of childhood best friends. They've been living apart for a couple of years. They haven't really been in contact, but they end up going on this sort of camping trip with their families, and they realize that maybe they should have stayed in contact. They have feelings for each other and they're in love. And I just love this series so much. There's so much banter and like character growth, and just so cozy, and I love that so much. The 4th place we have Under the Whispering Door by TJ Klune. This is basically about a grumpy old man, kind of Mr. Scrooge feeling to him. He dies, he comes to this place, sort of this magic tea shop, if you will, where he's supposed to stay until he's ready to pass over. He meets this guy that works there, the sort of ferryman, and they build this sort of unlikely friendship. And there's definitely a lot of character development, as always in TJ Klune's books. There's a lot of fun and emotional scenes, and just so heartwarming and sort of depressing at the same time. So yeah, I really do love TJ Klune's writing. And then on number 3 we have Amari and the Night Brothers by B.B. Alston, which is actually one of the very last books I ended up reading for the year. Basically we meet Amari. She has been looking for her brother for the last couple of months. She and her mother thinks he disappeared because of something that has to do with his job. But when they tell the cops that they think his job is the reason why he's missing, they keep telling them that he's not registered, he hasn't been hired by anyone, he doesn't have a job. So their sort of information about her brother doesn't really add up. But that is until Amara gets this sort of mysterious package in the mail, and she realizes that where her brother went every summer from his 12th birthday is not this summer camp that she originally thought. It's actually a magic school where they learn to, you know, harness their magical abilities and a lot of other stuff. And it's really cute, it's really cool, and it's a magical boarding school, which I love, so obviously it had to make the list. And we have another book that I don't really think anyone was surprised by, because this is number 2, and that goes to A Time of Dread by John Gwynne. This is the first book in the series of Blood and Bone. This is sort of a companion series to the Faithful and the Fallen series that I read 2021, I want to say. And this takes place about 100 or 200 years after the first series, and it's basically what happened now when the Benalim, sort of the angel guys and demons, and you know, they're all roaming the earth, and the humans kind of get stuck in the middle. There's another war on the horizon. People are trying to undo what happened in the first series. It's a lot of action, it's a lot of demons, a lot of death, a lot of betrayal, and you don't know who to trust. You don't even know who you like at this point, because everyone's fighting with everyone, and I'm loving it. So obviously it had to make it to this list. And then we have the number 1 of this list, and that is The Blinding Knife by Brent Weeks. And this one was actually on my top 12 books to read in 12 months or they will self-destruct list, which I'm ashamed to say, but it was a good reason to get me to pick it up. The reason I hadn't picked it up is because it's so freaking huge. It's over 800 pages and you know, it takes a long time to read. But I did end up reading this one mostly during vacation. Basically, this series is about Gavin. He is the prism, meaning sort of in this world you can see different colors, and the more colors you can see, you can control, the more magical, the more powerful you are. The prism is the only person that can see like all 8 colors, meaning you're the most powerful one. And there's a lot of wars, a lot of betrayal, you don't know who to trust, everyone's switching sides. There's like a school with one of the characters goes to, his name is Kip. He goes to this sort of school learning magic, and you know, I love that shit. The only thing I didn't really like about this book is the fact that all of the female characters, no matter if they're 17 or older, sort of get over sexualized by all of the characters, and that really bugged me. But if you're able to look past that, the series in of itself is really good. But yeah, those were the top 12 books I ended up reading in 2022. Please let me know down below what your favorite books for the year was, and maybe I'll check them out. But yeah, I hope you guys have a good day, and I hope we see each other in the next one. Bye!